This is section 3.6, mathematical models. Okay, we are going to do problem number 1. So it says let P equal x comma y be a point on the graph, y equals x squared minus 8. Express the distance d from P to the origin as a function of x. That's what question A says. So they want you to write this as a distance from the origin. Well, the origin would be 0, 0 because that's the beginning coordinate. Okay, you remember the distance formula. X2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Okay, now when we actually plug in these two coordinates, you want this one to go first. Okay, so that way we're not dealing with negatives or anything. So x2 is going to be x, x1 is 0 squared, plus y2 is y, y1 is 0 squared. Okay, so we're going to reduce that down, get rid of the zeros. So I get x squared plus y squared. That's going to be our starting thing. Now that is not the answer, so what we need to do is take this and plug it in for the y. So we need to substitute that in. Alright, so what we're looking at is x squared plus, and instead of y, we're going to use x squared minus 8 squared. Okay, so then what you need to do with this is we need to rewrite that out twice because the exponent here is 2. So we're going to write this out twice, and you're going to have to FOIL this. So x squared times x squared, x to the 4th. X squared times negative 8, negative 8x squared, negative 8 times x squared, negative 8x squared, negative 8 times negative 8, positive 64. Combine like terms in the middle, bring down your first and the last, and we get this for this right here. So I'm going to go back to this first one, and instead of this, we're going to plug this in. Okay, so plus x to the 4th minus 16x squared plus 64. Okay, now this and this match, the two x squares match, so we're going to combine those down. We're going to write it in more standard form, so the x to the 4th goes first. Okay, so now that we have that simplified, this is your answer for A. So that's the first answer. Okay, question B. What is D if x equals 0? So if x equals 0, you're going to plug 0 into the x's. You're just using the equation you found in A. Alright, so 0 to the 4th minus 15 times 0 squared plus 64. We're going to reduce that down. So that gives you the square root of 64, and the square root of 64 is 8. And because this is a distance, it's only going to be positive 8 and not negative 8. So we only have to worry about the positive. Okay, question C, what is D if x equals 1? Okay, so now we're going to take this equation right here and we're going to plug 1 into it. Okay, so if we reduce that down, we're going to get the square root of 50. Okay, question D. Use the graphing utility to graph the function. So we're going to graph this function into the graphing calculator. I had already pre-graphed that. So you just type in your equation into the y equals, hit the graph button, there's your picture. You just draw a mini picture on your paper. It doesn't have to be exact, just kind of draw close to what you have. Okay, question E, for what values of x is D the smallest? So we're looking at the x coordinates. So we're going to do a calculate, second calculate. Go down to the minimum. Okay, you want to go a left bound. So we're going to go enter. Do a right bound, enter. down to the peak and hit enter. So the x value is 2.74. And then we're going to do the same thing, another minimum, but on this one over here. Okay, so you just move the spider on the left, hit the enter, move the spider on the right, hit the enter, go down to the bottom, hit the enter, and that one is negative 2.74 after we round that. Okay, and then we're going to work out example number 2. We're only going to do question A. So it says a rectangle has one corner in quadrant 1. So we're looking at a rectangle in quadrant 1. Okay, this would be an x comma y on the corner. And it says it's also on this graph that's cutting through right here. And that graph is y equals 25 minus x squared. Okay, another corner is at the origin, which is down here. The third corner is on the positive y axis, and the fourth corner is on the positive x axis. And then this right here is shaded in. That is your rectangle. Okay, question A says to express the area A of the rectangle as a function. Okay, so area of a rectangle is length times width. So your length and your width would be x, y. Okay, so we're going to leave it x as x. And then we're going to take this equation here and plug it in for the y. So this is going to be, this x carries down. And y is going to be 25 minus x squared. And then all I need to do is distribute this x out. So we get 25x minus x to the third, and that is the answer for the area.